Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, it's Craig here again with a kit review of a recent purchase. One of these, the TAKOM, the Blitz line. It's the new Panzer Kampfwagen 3 House End with Winterketten. And there we go. Nice box art. They do some nice box art, do TAKOM. Again, it's from Jason again. As this guy's brilliant at painting his box covers and the figures that he designs as well. That's quite striking pose that I do like it, with the T34 behind it. 76. So yeah, it's on the sides. It gives you two options. You've got it in a German grey and a German grey with winter whitewash, which I'll probably go for that one. Although I've never done a German. I used to have done the little Panzer Kampfwagen 2. I did a little grey one, didn't I? It's a long back. But one of the two anyhow. And on the side, just at a normal picture again on there, and the kit number is, you can read that, is 8011. Can you see that? And on this side we have a Sprues. Sprues, which is nice again, letting you know what's inside the kit before you, so you don't have to open it and ratchet through it. Hopefully everything's there. So without further ado, some bits on there. We've got the lower hull and decals and bit of PE and whatever. So let's have a go. Let's have a look what we've got. Let's have a look. We'll just move this off to the side and we'll make a start. If it's anything like this, well, it will be like the little Panzer 3 that I built years ago. The, was it M? Mark M? House M? I think it was the House M, I think I did with it on the Stalingrad diode that I did, or not Stalingrad. Retreat from Kursk. So let's have a look at what we've got in the resealable bags. So we'll have a quick look and see what we've got and what we haven't got. If I remember right, this was a nice little hole and it fitted together beautifully. Yeah, and it's exactly the same. Apart from this one's got the hatches on the doors. Let's say the quality again, you can't argue with the quality on that. Even the bottom is superb. What's it got on 2020, so you know it is when they first brought out the first Panzer 3, which was, I think was the M that I did, and then the N, and then we've got the N, obviously this one again with the Winterketten as well. So that's a nice start, I like that. Little bag here with some bits in, the turret and the turret basket. Again, it's a nice year 2020 again, but from what I can remember it went together beautifully. There's a nice detail again on the top, screw heads, things like that. And the detail on the side for the hatches, obviously on the other side as well. Plenty of nice detail on that. And the stowage bin again, which is nice. Just needs a lid. You could have the lid open, I suppose, if you wanted to. Put a bit of stuff in there. Again, nice detail on the back. And the little clasps on the back as well, which is nice. And this is, I think it's about 32 quid. I think this kit was something like that from my usual place off eBay. Let's have a look at the top. Full top. Again, it's qualities there. You've got the checkerboard effect on the fenders. And again, nice detail, bit smooth on the top, but that's easily rectified. Nice weld seams across the front. Yep. Okay, there we go. We've got the detail on the front there. You can see. Right. Let's see if we can switch this other light. I think it makes any difference. This other light. Does it make any difference? Yeah. Yeah, so we've got the detail on there, which is nicely done again on the rear engine deck for all the covers to go on. And a nice checkerboard effect on the actual fenders. Again, really, really nice. Sprue C, which contains a little bit of, I think it's a jack, and I think it's for the ring gear on the toe eye for the shackles and things like that. Again, 2020, got the jack and the idler wheel mountings. Keep them, I always keep them sort of off towards the end, and then if you do need adjustments you can move it instead of being glued there. I've made that mistake a few times, but I've learned. So what we've got there, just a jack, nice and simple. The details there, it's good enough for me. Again, we've got the, you know, the nice rivet heads on the top, and sorry, bolt heads on top of these. Suspension spring type thing. Can't argue for £34, considering what you know kits are at the moment. They've skyrocketed obviously with everything else in this world at the moment. Just to restart what it is. I've got a cupola and mantlet and things like that, and we have another turret bin for some reason on the end of there. Usual, maybe for a reason. We'll find that out later on. You know, we've got the cupola, we've got a part of the what looks like internal workings of the breech, and we've got the slide moulded little barrel, slide moulded muzzle brake type thing. Yeah, this is a couple of hatches. Got a bit of flash on there, it's unusual. It's gone now. Vision blocks. Easy to sort out and make them look as if they're you know, always have it closed, suppose, but you don't want them open. Again, nicely done, really nicely done. I say slide moulded barrel there, and part of the mantlet, and a bit of a gun breech at the back as well. So you can have the hatch open, then can't one of the hatches open if you've got a little bit of detail. You can always slap a little bit extra in there, like, you know, for big jerry cans, and with jerry cans, few like water bottles and all that kind of stuff, just to bring it up if you want it really open. And on this sprue here, which is this is a new sprue, this is 2023, this one, so this must be one of the new sprues I've added to the kit. Again, we've got rear engine deck, covers for the engine deck, for the rear, a couple of vents, if we call them vents, what are they? Brain's gone dead. Well, the hinges for, I think they're for the turret. Hinges for the doors on the turret. Some very, very small lights on there. Have to be delicate with those, but they're nicely detailed. Again, nicely detailed. So we can have a look at sprue Q. I got there on the rear. That's the engine deck. There's some little lights that are there, so you're going to have to be careful when you're taking all those little bits off, as per normal. And these are slide moulded again. These are the vents that I was talking about, go on the side. Nicely done. A few small parts on there, like the lifting eyes for the turret and the one thing and another. You have to be very, very careful taking the small parts off. But I think that most of us are confident enough. I know we often lose parts of the carpet monster, but we try and be as careful as ever. But sometimes that isn't good enough for the carpet monster. He wants more. So I give my little cave a bit of a sweep out yesterday and the day before, and I found things that I'd lost, which is too late now, so I've all gone in the spares bin. Right, we've got sprue D, which is some more rear hatch, a few side panels. We've got the armour plate, extra armour plate, the Panzer with the extra bolted on armour on the front. We've got a machine gun MG34, jack block. It's not nicely detailed, but there's no on the sides. I don't know why they don't do it on the sides. fire extinguisher, what looks like an aerial, which is quite nice and thin. 2 pioneer tools, a ball for the ball mounted machine gun, exhausts, which is in one piece, which is nice, and the tool groups, which again are really nicely done. Sorry, still haven't got rid of this cold properly, but whatever I've got, but most of it's gone. Yeah, so that's a nice detail on those, on the tow and the tow cables. Again, we've got the jack block and the fire extinguisher, which isn't too bad at all. And I said we've got the front glacis plate, the machine gun, bout machine gun, and the driver's hatch. Yeah, driver's hatch, driver's covers, vent views, whatever you want to call it. Again, nicely done. Tools come with the mountings on them. You can always drill those out. Yeah, fairly simple to drill the clasps to make them look a bit better. Unless it is PE, I'm sure you could buy aftermarket PE. But I think what I'll do with these is I'll just have a look in the scrap bin. If I've got out in there, I'll use them. If not, I'll just drill the holes out. Make them look a bit more real. Yeah, I'm on with the Tiger at the moment. I'm going to do an update probably after I've done this. So the 2 videos again, one after each other. Again, like I did last week or week before. Yeah, so the Tiger's coming along nicely. Nice easy build as well. It wasn't difficult at all. Right, we've got another sprue. We've got more gun breech. We've got the 57mm of the original Panzer 3. I did, yeah. Yeah, we've got covers and things like that. I get another turret bin, smoke launchers, well, the brackets for the smoke launchers, few hatches. Obviously there's something on there we must be using, because obviously when I forget the turret bottom, I would say, and maybe the rail for the machine gun. We've got more hatches, more hatch doors there, and again a bit of slime moulding again for the battle, a bit of spare there. That's all right. I'll go in the spares bin. Front, turret front. We've got more basket again for the internal workings of the gun breech. Obviously we've got the lower part of the turret. More commander's cupola again. It looks quite nicely done, that. That's nicely done. So there's obviously parts of the new spray we're going to use in parts off this one as well. But we'll always have a spare gun and whatever. Sure it'll come in useful at some point. Now the wheels should be just the same, I would have thought. As the original kit. We'll have a look in a minute when I get the bag open. If I have a date. Two of these sprues, so obviously we're only going to look at one. And this is the 2020 again, so this is from the original kit. And again, the detail is lovely. We've got the Continental written on the tyres, got spare tyres, transmission cover, sprocket, idler wheel, large idler wheel on this one. More lights, little brackets for the shirts and for the shirts. Charting. There isn't any on here. Must be from the original kit, but obviously not going to use those. Got the S-hook, the wheels, suspension parts, again all nicely moulded. We'll start with the wheels. You can see if it's close enough, you might be able to see Continental written on it. And the sprocket, the idler wheel, transmission cover. All this is like low hull, all the suspension and things like that. More engine covers, and I'm sure we won't be using those 2 brackets where my finger is now. I wouldn't have thought so. Right, we have it's Lincoln length tracks, which I don't mind at all. But if you want to do an uneven uneven die-off, then you obviously have to buy some other ones. Let's have a look at them. Usually quality is quite good from TAKOM, and the link on them can usually fit really nicely. Every few tracks there's a couple of pinholes, but they're sunken, so you'll be able to cover them quite easily. Game of detail is really nice. Track from this side is superb. Some little bits and pieces on here. We've got the front. I'll show you the front first. Winterketten. And on that side, I think if I'm close enough you can see where the pin marks are. Hopefully they might just hide by the wheels. I've tried it before I do anything. I'll put them wheels on and just plonk it where it's supposed to go. I'll lift it up and see. Obviously on the bottom one you might have to do something. I'm not too sure, but they're not that bad. You can fill them in, can't we? They're easy enough to fill in. Bit of putty. Wipe it off. There you go. So yeah, can't argue with that. We've got the rest of the link and length tracks in here, which go around the sprocket, obviously around the idler. There's a couple of small pieces as well. Again, there's two of those sprues. And again, it's a shame we got pin marks on those as well, but there again we can fill them in. A little slow, laborious job, but you know, we are modelers after all. We overcome these problems. I've got ice grousers as well. A couple of the two shorter lengths. Again, the detail is nice. As you can see on that side, you've got the pin marks on the tracks. I say most of them are sunken, so get a little skinny file in there, or a skinny yeah, it'll be fine. I'm sure we can work with those. We have some clear parts, which is basically just the lights, lenses for the lights. And that's all I get about there in there anyhow, so sorry about the glare. And that's all the plastic. Alright, we'll have a look at the destructions now. We have a little bit of PE and the decals. And where's the get in place? There we are. That would be a long build. So these are simplified TAKOM kits. They're designed for people like me. Simple. So we have the decals, which you won't get out the bag. Got 205 and 232 and the Balkan Kreuz, and that's about it really. And a unit marking. Again, I had no problems with their decals last time we used them. TAKOM, sorry about the glare, if you can see. On there. A little bit of PE for the engine grills. And some other little bits on there, nice and thin. There we go. And this is my only complaint. I remember last time is that Bamford is a little bit on the small side. If people like me who are blind need to see. Got a bit of gump on there as well. Hans Guderian, 34 following a specification ordered by Hans Guderian. The Armament Department ordered the development of a new tank called named, I wouldn't even try to pronounce that, Zugenfuhrenwagen or ZW. That's more like it. I'll put it on there if anybody wants to pause it, if you can. Have a read of it. I like it when you get a bit of information about the vehicle you're building. You can relate to it then as you're building it. Right, usual stuff at the first. We got the paint call outs, which is ammo MIG, which I don't really use a lot of. I use the AK stuff mainly, or live colour, or the MRP, which I've got as well. A few MRP paints. There we are, we've got the RAL 7021, we've got new wood, crystal periscope green, don't have to worry about that, rubber tyres, rust tracks, dark track, crystal glass, light wood, washable camo, gunmetal, presume that means silver, yeah, SYLVR, presume that means silver, yeah. Got do's and don'ts obviously on there, and then we start to dig in with the sprue map. Excuse me. Excuse me. There we go. We start off with prop unit as normal with doing the lower hull. All the suspension parts, the wheels, obviously I'll have them together but won't put them on at that point. Again, we've got all the suspension going on this side, give it one side, one the other side. So, and the wheels. Again, you've got the bracket here for the spare track links that go on the front. I'll put the spare track links on, I wouldn't put them on at that point, I never do. Then we're starting off on the rear. Again, with a few hatch covers and things like that. And I think that's part of the, yeah, it's part of the exhaust system. And again, this is where we've got the vent's going to go on. Remember last time it was quite a nice fit in there. And if I remember rightly, these weren't actually on the first kit that I built. I had to make the PE vents that weren't in there. I had to put, like, you know, stuff you get with some other kits, like a nylon. I cut parts out of that and used that instead. But nice to see they've got the PE with this one. I'm sure it wasn't. Positive, I'll have to have a look after. So it's all more rear stuff, and obviously you've got to drill parts of the read these instructions properly and tells you where to drill the holes before you actually place the glue the part down. And again, we've got just putting the idler and the sprocket together. So it's a very straightforward build. I've got the tracks, but I wouldn't be doing it at that point. Again, I'll probably maybe make them up and take them off, and with the wheels, but I wouldn't have to glue them on at that point. So they are nice Lincoln length tracks. I'm going to try that though when I build it up though. If I remember, just put the wheels there and see where the actual pin holes go. Are the wheels going to cover them pin marks? It'd be great if it did. It would be less work, wouldn't it? Right, and then we're on to the upper engine deck again, which is fairly straightforward. There's nothing too difficult on there. You've got the, I don't put Pioneer tails, some people do, some people don't. I don't put mine until near the end. People put them on and paint them with the, some tanks have them with the colour of the tank. Some people actually paint them once they're on there, with the wood and the metal sort of thing. I always put them on after I've painted them. Again, more upper hull stuff, like putting the spare wheels, the bracket for the spare wheels, and the tow cable. Again, nothing too difficult. Again, got the vents going on this side and on the other side, and then we've got the vent covers to go on the top. PE. Again, all nicely done. And the jack again, I wouldn't put that on at that point. I'm not sure what these are. They're the jack holes. Let's look at that when we get to them. See if we can leave those on and paint them on the machine, and then put the jack on top. And then we have the ball mounted machine gun. You've got a little bit of interior detail on there with the well, where his head goes underneath, I'm sure it is, or something like that. Is it? Yeah, that's where his head goes underneath. I had to keep it sort of still to a certain degree. Again, fairly straightforward. And then we put in the up holes of a lower hole. We've got the front races plate and that extra armour on the front. I'm sure it's 4 pounds, I may be wrong, but if somebody could sort of correct me with that. Again, more engine deck stuff again, spare wheels, S-hooks, tow bar, fire extinguisher, that kind of stuff. And again, we're doing the opposite over the other side with the grills and the PE vents, and the jack block, fenders, and then obviously we've got the jack as well. 2 jacks, I'm saying, the jack on there. sure I've seen the one with doing the jack. Yeah, let's see him putting the jack on this side. Jack there. Oh, I must have been looking the wrong way. Sorry, my fault. I thought there was two jacks there. I went back on the same page, so obviously we went the low hole and the upper hole together. We started on the turret. Again, telling you where to drill, where not to drill. We're starting off with a few vents, grab handles, parts to go around the hatch doors, where the frame is. I presume that's for that. Little bits and bobs on the turret. I think these are pistol ports, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong. And then we're putting on the turret bin. It's telling you to drill holes or take off and glue. Tell you a part to take off if you want to do. We're taking that off. We'll have to look at that when we get to that point. And then we've got the lid and the bottom side, sorry, top side. And then we've got the smoke launchers. Then we're going to put the frame for the doors and the doors for the main turret. And then we've got the attaching of the smoke launchers. On that side, I presume on the next page we've got the same, but on the other side. Yeah, just a repeat of the other side really, apart from the commander's cupola, which we're going to be built up. Again. And I'm just doing reverse on the other side with the hatch doors and the smoke launchers, fitting the commander's cupola and the smoke launchers on there, and then we're starting off with a gun. The outside is fairly straightforward. We've got the little machine gun on the there, we've got the, it's telling you to paint those. Right, I see, okay. Oh, yeah. Even though you can have do out one or two parts, doesn't really matter, I suppose. I'll have to look into that, make sure. Yeah, and then we've got the barrel encased in part of the breech. And then we're putting this into the breech mechanism, goes through into obviously into the turret. Yeah, a little bit more breech detail. I've got the basket for the shells, a bit more breech work, and they give you the sort of the whole, sorry, gives you the whole thing there. What it should look like when it's all together. I've got the little ring on the front, on the machine gun. Sorry, you can't see, terrible I am. And then we're fitting that part into the turret, and then the lower turret goes on, turret ring, and then that's it. And then we're putting the turret and hull together, and that's it. And then we've got the colour call outs. Again, nice design, nice looking. Yeah. I probably will go for the winter one. Yeah. At least you get the call out as well. You can see both sides of a turret. The only one I think it's missing is looking down on them. See where your markings are on that. But it's only grain. You can only do, you know, with the whitewash. You want to cover that with whitewash wherever you want to put it, I suppose. Doesn't have to be exact on the in the picture. You've got decals where the decals go, the bottom unit marking on the turret basket. Just tell you, Schwer Panzer Abteilung 502, Leningrad Front, December 1942. And the other grey one is Schwer Panzer Abteilung 503, Army Group Don, December 1942. So they're both in the same area. One grey, one not grey. Or grey with a bit of whitewash on. Yeah, well, that's the one I did. Put it on that diorama with the Giro design, you know, building. That was a nice little build. I did enjoy building that. A Porsche Tiger I haven't got. I think I've got that one. That looks nice. Again, same thing, but stug, so it'll be just a different lid. I've got the Yad Tiger, but I've got the standard version of the Porsche. I think we'll be doing that shortly. And that's it. That's a little booklet, so it's fairly straightforward, nothing too difficult in there, got some nice detail. And a fairly cheap kit for what it is. you know, you get a bit of PE, you know, nice detail on the actual tank itself. So yeah, I recommend it. If it goes together as well as the other one did, which there's no reason why it shouldn't, because everything's the same apart from the gun. And maybe some little greablets everywhere on there, maybe slightly different, with the engine hatch, sorry, on the turret, Christ, on the lower hull, we've got the, there must be an escape hatch, or you load your ammo through there, whichever, and then, yeah, so it's quite a nice kit, Don't know what I get to build. I've got a long list as long as my arm, what I want to do as per normal, but as you all know, I don't build fast. So it could be quite a while before I do, but you never know. You never know. So again, thank you very much for stopping by and having a look at this little kit with me. I do recommend it. If you say it definitely goes together like the other one did, highly recommend it. Yeah. And if you want to change the Winterketten tracks, if you can't bother filling all the holes in, I'm sure there's companies that do them, either metal or plastic. So that's it. I'm going to do an update on the Tiger diode that I want to do. That'll be coming up after this. So again, thank you very much for stopping by and viewing, and we shall catch you very shortly.